Next, we got the Death Corps of Krieg, Flawed Masters of Trench Warfare and Dead Memes. I'm gonna be honest with you, like Warhammer memes aren't really that funny to me. I don't know, maybe that's just like my humor or whatever, but I don't know. I tried to get into some Warhammer memes and I understood them, by the way. They just weren't, I don't know, they just weren't funny. Maybe that's just my humor, but I gotta keep it real. Like I'd rather, tell you guys the truth and lie to y'all, like, oh, I love Warhammer memes. Yeah, I laugh at all of them. Yay. No, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't really. I think I laughed at once, like at one of them. Actually, it was like a salamander like meme next to like a little girl with the flamethrower. Instantly, I thought about you guys because like a lot of y'all try to use that against Vulcan and against the GOAT for saying that, oh well, Vulcan, you guys just trying to throw down Vulcan's image. Like I instantly started laughing just looking at the comments of like you guys hating on Vulcan. That's why I laughed at that one. But everyone, any other meme out there, I wasn't really a big fan of. Shout out to PancreasNoWork for this video. We'll get right into it. And comment down below. Christmas tree emoji going to be entered into the Christmas giveaway on December 25th. That's when the winner will be revealed on the spinner wheel. So as soon as you entered a Christmas tree emoji in the comment section down below, you will automatically be entered into the giveaway. Okay, you don't got to comment down below multiple times, whatever. Once you do it once, I almost dropped my phone. Once you do it once, then you are automatically in. And thank you so much for participating. And yeah, this is like a little giveaway, a little giveaway back to you guys for all the support from January to December. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank y'all so much. And let's go to it.
Krieg. Why don't we start with that name? Because, dear God, I think we finally found the least subtle Games Workshop name in the history of the franchise. It's just War. Who names a planet War? Did whoever colonized it hear about the German language but never actually learned what the words meant? Or was it founded by future Germans and they thought if they named it that ironically it would be a really nice place to live, like Iceland? Well, either way, they foreshadowed what was going to happen to it nice and succinctly. Anyways, before the planet of Krieg started cosplaying the Fallout universe, it was a regular old hive world. It was actually a pretty prosperous trading and manufacturing hub. Sure, it was still a hive world and therefore the vast majority of people lived in conditions that could generously be described as unpleasant, but hey, it was no worse than any other hive world in the Imperium. At the very least, because it was a trading and manufacturing world, there was always some fresh-faced merchant from off-world who could generously donate to the food supply by getting devoured by cannibals. Okay, I might be making that last part up for dramatic, likely thing to happen by far. Funny enough, this state of affairs actually lasted for most of the Imperium's history. I mean, you'd expect—
Bro, get this critter out of my face, bruh. Get this prisoner out of my face. Get this delinquent, get this nuisance, get this menace out my face, bro. Get this thug out my face.
A planet called War to be targeted by a dozen different orc invasions on the daily, but nah, it wasn't until the year 433 M40 for things to go really bad.
Get him out my
Unfortunately
face.
for Krieg, the planet was ruled by something just—
Oh my god. Yo, listen, real quick. I want y'all to answer this for me real quick. First of all, we're gonna talk about this whole room right here, right? This room looks very, like they coming up with evil plans in here. But yo, real quick, the first thing that I saw was bro in the back. Y'all, I've seen this in movies, TV shows, real life, etc., right? Where they have parties and stuff like that, but they have like you guys ever seen like TV shows or movies where they have like the parties and everybody's dressed all nicely in suits and dresses, but they have like a little eyewear. It's kind of something like this, but they have like a little eyewear that's like kind of covering like their identity a little bit. And it's like those like elegant parties or whatever, and even the waiters got like full mask on, or they have like a little thing as well. Like, bro, yo, what are those movies called? Like, sorry, no, not one of those movies called. What are those parties called? Like, what's the theme of that party called? I always thought to myself, like, why are they wearing that? Are they trying to like hide their identity? Like what's the point of what's that theme called? Because like I could just tell, bro, it's a bunch of grown men in here with candles. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. They're coming up with deep diabolical plans, yo.
Called the Council of Autocrats. More wonderfully unsubtle naming. And you see, the funny thing about people in power is that they generally like to keep that power. So these guys started getting paranoid and started turning their cities into fortresses that would make a dwarf jealous. And then they started getting bitter towards the Imperium about getting taxed all the time, because how dare anyone abuse our populace and steal their resources? No one has the right to do that but us. And then one day on the aforementioned year 433 M40, things went bad. The governor of the planet, who was was apparently such a heinous man that his very existence has been retconned away by the Imperium, declared independence. And then a whole bunch of nobles went right with him. In fact, most of them did. He also decided to renounce the Emperor as a god, because at this point you might as well just full send the whole insurrection thing. But thankfully, there was one man left to call for help, Colonel Jerton. And call for help he did before the...
Is that a gold mask? That's a gold theme, like, Krieg mask? That's hard, bro. I'll buy that for at least $1.2 to $1.5 million. This is hard, bro. Genuinely, this is hard.
Imperium at large finally...
Yo, somebody needs to find one of those. Like, I'll buy it.
...responded and told him to sort out the mess himself, or so help them God, they might actually do something.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If I walk into the club with this on, bro, no lie, like, I'm getting every girl's number, bro. Like every girl will legit be throwing themselves at me. Like, no lie.
Truly,
like,
the Imperium always has mankind's
like, literally.
best interest at heart. So Mr. Colonel Jerton found a whole bunch of atomic bombs in a shed somewhere, weighed his pros and cons, and turned the whole world into atomic soup. And that still didn't end the Civil War, because of course it didn't. But because the rebels were the ones the nukes were pointed at, they got the worst of it. I mean, as much as anyone can be worse off than anyone else in nuclear war, and after a nice and short 500 years, Krieg was back in Imperial control.
500 years?
Now, to go back in time for a brief moment, the guys in charge of taking stock of the Imperium's inventory saw that Krieg got nuked and pretty much wrote it off as a loss. I mean, when your subjects start blowing each other away with atomic weapons, it's a pretty safe assumption, I'd say. So upon hearing that Krieg was actually still alive and kicking, the Administratum celebrated in the most Imperium of man way possible, by immediately demanding that Krieg send a regiment of men to the Imperial Guard to...
Bro, this thing looked clogged up. Boy, this machine looked clogged up. I didn't even know this was like a... Yo, I thought... you ever like... you ever like walk through some grass or like, you know, I don't know, like take a hike or something like that, or, you know, or walk through like anything. Like you ever like, you know, accidentally like rub up against like a tree or like plant or something, and you get those little sticky things that stick to like your clothes. This is what this is. Bro, I thought that like that they just came out of war and they got hit with like a moon crater or something. I did not know that this was like a... I didn't know this was like their own like little special grinder or something like that. This looks deadly. This looks crazy.
As soon as possible. Krieg sent 20. Well, damn. And thus was
20?
the Death Corps of Krieg introduced to the galaxy at large, with something called Vitae Womb technology, which could be anything from Star Wars clone trooper vats to big rooms filled with a lot of people going at it all the time. They always provide as much manpower as the Imperium asks for, and then more. And they're pretty good at what they do. In fact, in the areas they excel in, they're probably the best in the whole damn guard. But wait a minute before you write me off as another shovel humper. That was a loaded sentence. In the areas they excel at implies there's areas they don't do so hot in. And you know what? There's a whole lot of areas.
They so dripped out. They so fashionable and so dripped out, bro. Shout out to them. Yo, you know what? I kind of like the Krieg, bro. They so dripped out, bro. Look at bro in the middle. This is something that I will wear. This is, bro, man. Come on, man. Stop playing with me, bro. I'll legit have, yo, I would, like, if I had this one, bro, I would legit have like 8 girlfriends, bro. I'll be breaking all their hearts and everything. It'll be crazy.
Useless
like,
That's right, you shovel-mean spewing, Kaiser-worshipping sycophants. Krieg can do things wrong, and they aren't equipped to handle everything. First off, Krieg is of course based on World War I trench combat. This isn't news. Because the name of the planet is just German for war, people automatically assume they're based on Germans. Technically, yes, but not just the Germans. More the concept of World War I combat as a whole, really. What, did you think it was only the Germans in World War I who built trenches, while everyone else just sat in the middle of no man's land playing rock, paper, scissors to see who was getting shot at first? In fact, do me a favor and look at a French World War I uniform and a Kriegsman side by side.
Yo, them boys was dripped
shot
out.
At first. In fact, do me a favor.
Man, them boys was dripped. Look how they got their hands in their pocket. They know they tripped out. Everybody got their little mustaches. They know they tripped out. Hey, I like this blue, bro. I'm rocking with this blue. This is hard, bro. I feel like, yo, I can definitely just imagine myself having this on, bro, and just walking down like the Paris fashion, like you were like runway, bro. Like, man, like this is hard. I might have to steal this idea.
Favor and look at a French World War I uniform and a Kriegsman side by side. You'll notice that A, they look almost identical, and B, the French aren't German, but Krieg shovel Kaiser shotgun memes, so what do I know? Since I brought it up and I'm just complaining about memes right now before I get back to actually talking about them, shovels are not Krieg's main form of combat, you cretins. Will they use them in combat? Well, yeah, why wouldn't they if they had to? A shovel to the head is pretty painful, turns out. But in my humble opinion, I think they're more likely to use the, I don't know, the gun in their hands with the pointy bit of metal on the end of it before resorting to junk construction equipment, and they don't commit suicide by minefield at the earliest chance they get. They desire death as a form of atonement for their planet's rebellion and seek to take as many people with them before they go. You can't take anyone with you if you clear a minefield by walking on top of it. The problem with Krieg is that there are 3 interpretations you can make of it. There's the sad, pitiable version of it because they're an army of grown-up child soldiers who are brainwashed to think they need to die for the sins of people long since dead. There's the stoic side of them that refuses to budge under even the most deadly of circumstances because nothing short of their skin melting off is going to phase a Kriegsman. And then there's the version where they're the best regiment ever and have Sabaton songs constantly blaring on the battlefield as they run headfirst in the enemy to beat them to death with a shovel. Now in a vacuum, none of these are inherently bad interpretations. Even the last one because it kind of leans into the sillier parts of 40k. The problem is between memes and people not actually looking into the subject matter, the last one is all people ever hear about and it's annoying as hell. It makes people dislike a regiment that otherwise is outstandingly cool and just generally a great piece of Warhammer lore. But I've complained about memes long enough. Hopefully exactly long enough to make people know I'm not just here to make shovel jokes. So getting back to the lore of this lore video, what is the Death Korps of Krieg actually good at? Attrition warfare, in a nutshell. If the situation requires the guard to stay put and hold no matter the losses, you can't do better than Krieg. Any enemies whose whole shtick is charging headfirst into melee are gonna have a bad time, because every member of the Death Korps has
I feel like I'll be so like amazing at like what I'll do like in Warhammer. Like I feel like I'll be so like stealthy and so like, you know, amazing and so like, you know, charming. Like, bro, I will legit like walk up to like the Krieg, bro, shout out to them, you know, in their fashion. But like I feel like if I was working for like the other team, yo, no lie, I'll walk up, you know, like to their base or whatever. I'll be like, hey y'all, could we just have a beer? And then, bro, like my charm and just my charisma alone will just convince these guys, you know, just to have a beer. All of a sudden, bro, I got these boys drunk. No Bill Cosby. Yo, I got all these guys drunk and everything like that. You know, I got everybody in there. I got everybody in there doing a stinking leg on the dance floor. I got everybody in there hitting the worm. I got everybody in there like just total. Them boys total like a car, right? I got everybody distracted. You know, yo, I got dudes in there, you know, trying to chase the girls and stuff like that. Bro, I got everybody distracted. Yo, and then when I'm gonna send a message, I'm gonna press that big red button. Push the goddamn button, just like that little girl said off Rush Hour. Yo, I'm gonna push the button, bro. All of a sudden, bro, my squad gonna come in, take everybody out except for me. I'm gonna just stand there like these, bro. I'm gonna just stand there like these, just sipping on my wine while everybody just gets riddled with bullets. I'm gonna just sit there with my wine, just be sipping it, bro. All of a sudden, you know, they gonna serve me with like the big golden little medal, whatever, and I'm just go home happily ever after. That's what I would do. But what would you guys do? I mean, obviously, you know, y'all wouldn't have that aura like me. But like, what would you guys do? Like, you know,
a list that starts and ends with murder-suicide. Once again, Khorne proves he is the worst chaos god. Bloodletters and berserkers bravely rush across the field to be immediately gunned down by a 5-mile-long trench system of artillery and las cannons. Same for Slaanesh in this case. Sure, they're a whole lot faster than Khorne, but also a lot weaker and vulnerable to things like any form of concentrated firepower whatsoever. Orcs as well, though they at least might build some Stampa or other unholy abomination of metal that lets them get close. As a general rule of thumb, any enemy that focuses either primarily on melee or attrition warfare themselves is probably going to hand the Death Korps on a silver platter. The Iron Warriors may be just as good at building fortifications and siege warfare, but the funny thing about a really big cannon is that it doesn't really matter if a Space Marine or a normal guy is the one pointing it at the enemy. The Tyranids, I'd say, are a 50-50 chance, because while they primarily focus on rushing into melee, the hive mind is so adapted that the moment they find a weakness in the Krieg lines, they're going to pour in and start murdering guardsmen like it's going out of style. Also, in one of the Kane books, the man himself mentions how infiltration organisms like lictors are sent in once the hive mind figures out where the major defensive locations are, and that sort of thing would be a death sentence for Krieg, let alone something like a Trigon burrowing under the trench. You also can't really scare the Kriegsmen as a whole, so Night Lords probably aren't going to cut it. Better than Khorne because they acknowledge that stealth is in fact a thing, but what are you going to threaten them with? Death? That's kind of the end goal of a Krieger regiment. Death equals redemption, so you can't really threaten them with a bad time.
Yo, hey, this picture's AI. There's no way bro got a full set of Joker teeth. There's no way. There's no way he got a full set of white teeth. I refuse to believe that, yo. There's no way people in Warhammer take care of their teeth. I don't even see these guys waking up brushing their teeth with Colgate. Come on, bro, stop playing.
Oh, I'm sure whoever gets captured is going to have a miserable time, but the army as a whole is just going to fight you even harder for being a dick. Oh, and they're also perfect for places like the wastelands of Hive Worlds and other areas of the galaxy where you can best describe the environment by saying the planet has cancer. Yeah, those gas masks they wear, not just for show, turns out. That exact thing actually happened in Caiaphas Cain. Minor spoilers ahead, but nothing intensely plot-related, so cover your ears real quick if you don't want to hear. Quick, here it comes. The Death Korps were deployed to the most inhospitable parts of the planet that had the fortune to be defended by Caiaphas Cain. And they didn't did not care, because when everyone in the army has a death wish, a little thing like the atmosphere being 90% toxic waste does not slow them down. But don't think that all this makes Krieg invincible.
So, like, if that's the case, if they all had a death wish, why don't they just take off their masks and just take a big inhale? Like, why don't they just go crazy? Like, I thought they wanted to,
Oh, no, not even close. If the enemy excels at speed, agility, and generally not just charging directly at a trench line, then Krieg is screwed. Picture this, Krieg gets all their forces lined up, the trenches are...
Bro, I'm so fast, yo, I'll be hitting all type of, bro, Eric Dickerson moves, bro, I'll be stiff-arming people like Adrian Peterson. Yeah, like, bro, I'll be... Yo, come on, man. Yo, I'm running over people like Marshawn Falk.
Ready and armed to the teeth, and they're ready to fight, kill, and die in the name of the God Emperor of mankind. Then a webway portal opens up behind them, and they all get massacred by howling banshees. The Eldar are a hard counter to Krieg because they just don't have to deal with that kind of attrition warfare. That's a hard jacket. You know how...
That's a hard fit right there.
France built that really big wall of fortresses before World War II, and then Germany just kinda walked around it? Vastly simplifying, I know, but that's the gist of it. Well, the Death Corps is France in this scenario. The Eldar are just gonna teleport right behind their fortifications and obliterate them. Also, almost all of their vehicles are lightning-fast hovercraft. They don't need to worry about getting caught in no man's land because they just float over it and the Krieg lines of defense. If the Death Corps tries to chase the Eldar, well, you're chasing the Eldar. You aren't gonna catch them. They just run circles around Krieg and whittle them down to nothing over the course of about 5 minutes. It's even worse with the Dark Eldar. A bunker may as well be a gift-wrapped Christmas present. The Clouds and Craftworlders also have magic. Trenches aren't so effective when someone waves their hand and lightning appears. The same problem happens when fighting against Zeech, only even worse, because at least you can put a wall between yourself and the lightning. Hard to do that when instead of lightning, they just opened a portal directly to hell beneath your feet. How about the Tau? Well, not as much of a curb stomp as the Eldar, but their technology is so advanced I can't imagine trench warfare would really phase them. They're quick enough to avoid massed artillery, and their battlesuits are tough enough to handle small arms fire long enough to take them out. Also, pulse rifles beat lasguns, so while Krieg has the advantage of experience in war of attrition, the Tau have the advantage of their weapons not being squirt guns. Additionally, certain enemies can still overwhelm them if they're tough enough and Krieg doesn't have enough of a numbers advantage. Nurglite forces, while being slow and not exactly hard to miss, can take the hits Krieg can throw at them. Or they could just vomit poison gas on them like the Purge did. That got Krieg good. To be fair, they only retreated by one trench line, so like 50 feet max, but that hardly makes the guys who got gassed any less melty. Necrons as well can give them a real hard time. When you can repair all of the lasgun wounds in the world, it's kind of irrelevant if you shoot the Necron 100 times if you can't finish them off. Of course, artillery can still hurt the slow-moving Necron.
You gotta empty the entire clip just to even put a dent in these dudes, bro.
So it might not be a total defeat, it's just not going to be an easy victory by any definition for the Death Corps. And if the Necrons break out the real big boys like a Catan Shard, they're going to win handily.
Like, no lie, bro, like, I would have, like, so much aura and just so much, like, finesse just in Warhammer, that, like, bro, one shoulder bump to the Necrons, they'll just be out. One shoulder bump to the Necrons, they'll be out here. I can't really talk loudly because, they put, like little bugs and cameras around my house whenever they pulled up on me at 2 a.m. So, like, I can't, my bad, But, like, bro, if one of those dudes pulled up to me, bro, like in real life, I would have handled him easy, bro. I don't care if he got a gun or whatever. I would have had bro in a frenzy, bro. I would have given him the Batman treatment, for real.
Whether or not they would for just a bunch of Kriegsmen is a matter of debate. And because I think it's funny to end on this, Krieg has a habit of people thinking them as doorstops whenever they show up in lore that doesn't explicitly feature them. Once again, here we go. When they show up in the Caiaphas Cain novel, fair is fair. As he fights alongside them, he's more than happy to appreciate their suicidal bravery. But before that, he's just kind of like, yeah, they're crazy. I don't get what it's all about. And the Japal regiments think they're utter doormats. They're more than happy to let the Kriegsmen take the bullets for them, but they don't really care for the whole dying for the Emperor deal. I just think it's hilarious that every fan of the franchise seems to either love them or hate them, but in universe, everyone except the Administratum just kind of treats Krieg with utter indifference. So there's the Death Corps of Krieg, a faction that by all rights should be a real fan favorite, but because there's nothing more fun than beating a dead horse, a lot of people dislike them. Oh well.
Shout out to PancreasNoWork, man, for this video. I'm gonna keep it real. I wouldn't say I'm big fans of these guys, like fashion-wise. Ooh, they one of the best. They top 3. As a matter of fact, bro, they're top 2. They're probably not. Ooh, no, they are 2. I forgot Vulcan's number 1. But I'm gonna keep it real for what it is, bro. Like, these guys, like, they're kind of like I feel like I'm so used to hearing like so many significant things about somebody in Warhammer and how they have these amount of powers, whatever. That these guys, they kind of like brought my they kind of like brought that high down, if that makes sense. Like, these guys are like the only faction or whatever in Warhammer that I haven't really heard too many like, oh my God, they can raise up people from the dead. They can, shock the ground. They can turn water into some juice. They can, do whatever, da, 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 da. Like, these guys are like the only people that are kind of like regular in a way. And I kind of, I respect that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do respect that, even though they probably lose a lot. But I do respect it, man. Comment down below, man. What do you guys think about this video? Shout out to PancreasNoWork for this video. And other than that, bro, they do got they got the top 2 fashion in the game. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Cheers, like, first out. Peace out, everybody.